Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded right here in the heart of Cornwall by the team at Chaos Radio. I'm your host Tom Howe, and as ever I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's jam-packed show, we explore a rare and much-loved tradition here in Cornwall with Jonathon Jones, Managing Director of Trading at Tregothnan, who joins us ahead of the estate's globally renowned private garden opening weekends. We catch up with Kiley Pearce, events fundraiser at Children's Hospice South West, ahead of this year's Rainbow Run Cornwall, the county's brightest family fun run, which last year raised an astonishing, wait for it, £107,000. We also hear from Caroline Childe, music leader of a special local choir for people living with dementia and their carers, as they prepare for a heartwarming concert marking the close of their latest project here in St Austell. Plus, Ruth Forrest from HMRC joins us with important news for families claiming child benefits, explaining the upcoming increase to payments and why parents are being encouraged to register as early as possible. And we sit down with Helen Tiplady and James Darcy to talk about an exciting 6-day musical theatre summer school being run by Falmouth University and the Get Creative team, culminating in a public performance of Legally Blonde Jr. this August.
NEWSWAVE.
But first this month, people are being afforded a rare look inside one of Cornwall's most iconic estates, one which famously opens to the public for just one weekend each year. Tregothnan's private garden opening, taking place on Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th of April, allows visitors to explore more than 100 acres of extraordinary gardens on the banks of the River Fal. I was joined by Jonathon Jones, Managing Director of Trading at Tregothnan, who explained what it is that makes the event so special and the incredible fundraising impact it's made over the years.
NEWSWAVE.
Yeah, for sure. It's an amazing opportunity to get out and see something not normally open to the public. So just once a year, and not even every year, Tregothnan is open to raise funds for local charities. And did you know, Tom, since the tea was planted at Tregothnan, we have raised almost £1 million for local charities.
Wow.
Incredible, the generosity of the Cornish and further afield population that visit and see the tea gardens and the ornamental botanical gardens and all that, the good stuff that is so beautiful and does so well around the tea gardens at Tregothnan. So it's been running a long time, but tea is the big draw because I think people know that they see something that does better here than anywhere else in Europe. We are now Europe's largest tea plantations right in the heart of Cornwall, just by the River Fal, and it's become, some people say, the largest garden opening for charity in the world. It's hard to prove that wrong or right because there are some really big American gardens, but they're usually open every weekend or every day. Tregothnan is only open for this one weekend, so it's a pretty unique event.
Now, when I say shrouded in mystery or shrouded in intrigue, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, it's such a great experience because most of the year, in fact, pretty much all of the year, the gardens are closed, aren't they? But there's this special weekends where people from across the globe come and just have a sneak peek behind those gates. What is it that makes Tregothnan so very special, Jonathon?
Yeah, and that shrouding in mystery, Tom, is really real. I've been here almost 30 years and I still sense that. When I go out in the morning, and we are quite literally shrouded in mist, and that I used to not pay enough attention to that, but we effectively have cloud forest conditions for about 1 mile stretch of the River Fal, where it's very deep. We've got loads of trees and teas growing very thickly together, and we get this thick mist, and it works brilliantly for the tea. So there's a real sense of mystery shrouding us, which allows us to grow the tallest rhododendron in the UK, for example, which comes from cloud forest conditions in Darjeeling and the Himalayas generally. So there's that aspect of it, but also that one family have lived here continuously since 1334. So we're almost 700 years old. That is remarkable. There's a real sense of mystery around that. And when we work here, we kind of get used to this amazing environment, but it's incredible. The conservation and the beauty and all of those things that we just live with are amazing for people to come and taste and experience for a day. And I mean, taste and experience in a real way too, because we provide food and drink all day long. So you can immerse yourself not just in the environment, but in all the good things that grow here. And that, I think, brings it all to life. And the fact that we're not an institution, it's a family-owned private home, effectively, surrounded by enormous woodlands and gardens and forestry, farming, all those things that keep this rural environment alive and innovative. Lots of new things happening. It's not a museum, it's not the National Trust. And Lord Falmouth over the years has encouraged us to really do new things and create new things which are here for people to see and enjoy. So that's the mystery, I think, that you're noticing when people come here. There's something different about Tregothnan. It's a real living working estate. There's over 80 employees. There's on the day that you'll visit, or any of the 2 days on the 18th and 19th of April, there are over 200 volunteers involved. So it's an enormous operation with car parking for up to 5,000 guests. This is a remarkable experience for anyone who lives not just in Cornwall and Devon, but we have visitors from Australia. You touched on it being a thing that draws people from far and wide. We have actually already sold tickets to people coming from Australia. So it is amazing that it has such a broad appeal.
It is remarkable. Every year or every time this event is staged, it's remarkable to see the queues of traffic and the people all sort of talking about it, the little buzz going around the little villages and in sort of in groups around the country and indeed the world as well. That story behind it is so intriguing as well. How much of that story do visitors get to see firsthand? And as well, what does it mean to you personally to share that journey with the public too?
A lot, actually. Sharing it is an opportunity for the garden team and the trading team, everyone on the estate, in fact, to have their friends and family have a little glimpse into what is a remarkable life and to see how different things are at Tregothnan to anywhere else in Cornwall, and actually in the way it's laid out and the way it functions, but also a way of giving back to the community. And as I said, we've over the years raised almost £1 million for local charities, many of which you've been involved in, Tom, I know. So it's actually a really visible thing. But it means a lot also to, I think, conservationists, because the garden is a safe site for literally tens of thousands of rare species. And it's a safe site for endangered conifers, all that sort of thing. But I think educationally, there's a really famous YouTuber called Maddie Moat, who does a lot for education of mainly young people, but anyone's, interesting to anyone. And she's just released a tea video, sort of a how to make tea, and getting huge interest. And it's just in time for this open weekend. So you can actually now come along and pick and make tea during the weekend, which is a really great thing for anyone. But we noticed that Maddie Moat has a big following in the under 18s, and under 18s are free. So it's not an expensive visit to make Tregothnan. You can, as an 18 or under, you get to come in free, you get to pick tea, you get to experience all the things we've been talking about, and there's free parking as well. So it's a really affordable experience. And I think that's what people are looking for right now, is to reconnect with nature and the environment and discover the world's number one drink, which of course is tea, but you knew I'd say that. But actually it's true. and also bring their parents who won't get in for free, but are very welcome as well. And there's food and drink, there's a barbecue, there's amazing, great Cornish producers that support us, like Rodders, and there's, a whole range of great food available all day. And that's quite funny when you stand at the front gate at Tregothnan and watch people pouring in, apparently for the garden, and then they immediately turn right into the food court. So not quite what they say they're doing, but hopefully they'll make it into the garden at some point.
Yes, there is so much to enjoy, isn't there? And actually, you touched upon it there. There is a cost element involved, but that's all going into good causes as well. Can you just tell us how this year's event is supporting local charities?
Yes, so the two charities that will be featured and we're really excited to work with are Hidden Help and St Petrock's. Now, we've worked with St Petrock's before, so they're well known to many garden visitors, but we've been working with them for a long time. Lady Falmouth, who sadly passed away in the autumn, wanted them to be this year's nominated beneficiaries. So the way it works is we donate after the event. So it's a donation from His Lordship. It's amazing how motivated people are to raise funds for good causes like that. And I think, St Petrock's have helped many homeless people, and you can come and learn about the charities on the day. They'll have lots of volunteers here to talk about what they do. Yeah, it will be a very good insight to what they do, and there's music as well. So we've got, I think, 3 or 4. In fact, I think there's more this year, people performing. And so with the acoustics here, it's a pretty remarkable setting for any performances like that. So you don't have to just be gardeners or environmentalists or anything like that. You can just be interested in having a cup of tea and a piece of cake and enjoy some music. It's got something for everyone. Or you could be an avid Maddie Moat fan who wants to learn how to make tea.
Absolutely. You can make a full day or a full weekend. Perhaps you want to go on both days and make a full weekend out of this, because there's so much to do and enjoy, and it's such a rare opportunity as well. Right here on our doorstep, we've got something so exciting, but everyone's going to take something a little bit different from the weekend. I just wanted, Jonathon, to speak to you about when you go, your particular highlights. I don't want you to give away sort of any secrets or give too much away to spoil the any surprises that might be around the corners. But what particularly sticks with you, perhaps on the journey home that you remember, or a particular part of the year, or a particular nook or cranny? What speaks to you at Tregothnan?
I think the most incredible thing is when we have these open weekends, which I think open up a whole different way of looking at what we do. We're not surrounded by people here for 363 days of the year, and then for 2 days we've got thousands of people, and just listening to their comments. And we all have to be volunteers. We're working flat out, so you can't really linger, but you just hear people commenting and absorbing and gazing in admiration at this sheer scale of everything. So I mentioned earlier some of the trees here are the rhododendrons, which are in full flower, 14 meters tall. It's actually the tallest in the country. And watching children gaze up at these enormous specimens and thinking they're like, dinosaurs from the Himalayas in Cornwall. It's just, there's nothing quite like it. And that, to me, is especially the younger people, but anyone's interaction with all of that and their appreciation for it, whether they're just loving to see acres of bluebells, that's fine too, or gazing out over the deer park. And I think just standing there and realizing that this is a piece of living history where the plan is to be here for as long as we have been here. So by visiting Tregothnan, you're almost part of making something help sustain for the future. So, these things don't just happen. It's not a museum, as I said earlier. And I love just seeing the appreciation of particularly children, because they're always more expressive, but they come across the camellia maze, which is absolutely enormous, and before they get lost, there's this sense of excitement and anticipation, and then when they get to the middle of the maze and make their way out again, there's a kind of sense of triumph that they've survived. And it's all part those things that we don't really think about until you get loads of interactions, and that makes it all come to life. And it's seeing people have fun, and at the end of the weekend you've just got lots of memories. Lots of people write to us as well, or in these days, of course, loads of social media. You get real-time feedback in a way that perhaps 5 years ago you wouldn't. So we're doing live on TikTok, Instagram, X, all of it. But it's, the likes of Chaos that really bring it to a local audience. And we really appreciate all that you've done over the years, Tom, to help bring this date to people's attention, because although we've got these gigantic signs up around Cornwall, there are lots of people that don't drive or, may not notice the signs. You know what we're all like. So it's very important that we tell people that this is coming up, the 18th and 19th of April. As I said, under 18s are free, 19 and over pay £15 to get in, but that is it. Free parking. There's great food and drink all day, music, entertainment, and as you said earlier, there's something for everyone. It's not a normal garden visit. What I love as well is often I've seen families planning it as their sort of get together. So over the years, we've noticed more and more families using it as a reason to meet up in Cornwall. So they might have a few relatives coming down from up country, as we say, and they use the Tregothnan open weekend as an opportunity just to get together in an environment which is never going to be open for the rest of the year. And it's lovely. You just sense that, different generations all together, all having fun and all having an interesting day out, but also mainly just seeing each other and enjoying their company.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And you said there about children surviving the maze. Don't discount the adults as well who get out the other side, cheering because they've made it through as well.
We've not lost anyone yet. It's been a close thing. And also dogs on leads are welcome. So right. we have the dogs often go into the maze as well. So we have to make sure they get out safely.
Of course. Look, if any of our listeners haven't yet snapped up tickets or hearing about this for the first time, where can they find out more information? Where can they get these tickets? And can you remind us where you are and the all-important dates as well? Yeah,
the website is the obvious first point, tregothnan.co.uk. There you can get tickets. All the information's up there. You can pre-book to save any queuing, and that's the easiest way to do it. Also, on the day, you can follow the postcode to TR24AX. That gets you to the probably the longest one-way system in the UK on that day. It's I think it's 9 miles actually, but from Tresillian, it's 4 miles from Tresillian. So signposted very well, and we get great support from all the local community and Cornwall Council and the police, etc. So it's a very slick operation. If you want to buy tickets on the gate, you can. They're £15, but as I say, if you're 18 or under, there's no charge.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, Cornwall's biggest and most colourful family fun run returns this summer, bringing a sea of colour to RAF St Morgan for a truly inspirational cause. Last year, more than 1,500 participants took part in the Rainbow Run, raising an incredible £107,000 for Children's Hospice South West. Now in its 12th year, the event brings together families, groups, businesses and friends on a 5-kilometre route, complete with 8 powder paint stations. Yes, you heard me right. Ahead of this year's event, being held on Saturday the 20th of June, I was joined by Kiley Pearce, events fundraiser at Children's Hospice South West.
NEWSWAVE.
I'm Kiley Pearce. I'm the events fundraiser at Little Harbour, which is our hospice, one of 3 hospices that forms part of the charity Children's Hospice South West. And I've been working there for almost 15 years now, since we opened, and I organise our Children's Hospice South West events, one of them being the Rainbow Run.
Tell us about Rainbow Run. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, so Rainbow Run, it's the 13th year this year. So Rainbow Run is a fun 5K. Anyone over the age of 5 can take part. It's a flat course, run, walk or jog it, and as you go along the route, there is 8 colourful powder paint stations. So you start off in that white T-shirt, but you will be an explosion of colour as you cross the finish line and get your bespoke Rainbow Run 2026 medal. There is powder paint everywhere and every single crevice. It is absolutely an incredible sight to see. We have red, pink, orange, yellow, green. We've added turquoise, we've got blue, and we've finishing off with purple is a new addition as well. So there is so much paint, there is so much colour, and it's just I think a real fun way of actually, we have a lot of people that do sort of couch to 5K. We have some experienced runners that will actually bring their children along. We have businesses that sort of take part for a fun team day out. It really is an overall day experience. Before they start the run, they're getting to go on sort of loads of rides, there's stalls. This year we've got Kelly's of Cornwall with their ice cream. There's food vendors. There's loads of music and entertainment. We're really excited to be partnering with Chaos this year. Jamie from DJ in Cornwall's going to be there. It's all about having a day of fun. So our participants make memories while helping us to make memories for our families at our hospice. What we do ask, the registration fee covers the cost of taking part in the event. It's the vital sponsorship that people are raising that is supporting the £4.3 million it costs us to run Little Harbour each year. But actually, it's quite an achievable goal. We just ask individuals to raise £35, and if taking part with your family, we ask you to raise £93. And it's £93 that funds 1 hour of care at our hospice.
Yes, this is a lot of fun, and it's great to get the family involved in, and there's different events throughout the year, but it's for such an incredible purpose, such an important purpose.
Yeah, we're supporting 120 babies, young people and children at Little Harbour, and obviously their extended family as well. So mum, dad and their siblings also get to stay. We've got some amazing facilities at Little Harbour. Yes, we've got a hydrotherapy pool, a sensory room, a soft play area, a messy playroom, a games room. But what's really important as well, it's the memories that those families are making, the respite, parents get to sleep. Yes, we do have to provide end-of-life care for children and their families, but a lot of the time we are just making the most of short and precious lives.
I was lucky enough to be invited to come along to one of the tours at Little Harbour, and I was absolutely blown away. I think a lot of people would go in with misconceptions or sort of an idea of what it might look like, but it's totally different, isn't it?
It really is. I think some people think it's going to be like a hospital and very plain. It's a home from home, and that's the way we love it to be. We've got a big lounge with a huge telly. You know, we always say Peppa Pig never looks so big. We've got a kitchen where all their meals are cooked. They have facilities upstairs for the families to sleep. It's like a hotel experience, because for some of our families it's the only holiday they get. We have huge amazing grounds and outdoor space where there's an incredible sensory garden. There's a place where they can go down and watch the birds. It's such a home from, it's lively, bright and vibrant. And the other end of the hospice, yes, where we have a beautiful room called Carenza, where we have our memory tree, and there's messages of all the children that have died from their families. And there is our room called Starborn, where a child would lay at rest for however long the family decide. But there's a door that separates to that part of the hospice, because where one family may be experiencing end of life, on the other end of the house, when you have families in, it's all about fun and laughter. Yesterday we were listening to some children. They were playing with the drums, and there was music for about 2 hours, and in the fundraising office we could just hear that going on. It was such a great thing to listen to, actually.
And the team you have as well there are almost the forgotten people, if you like. They put in so much work and so much time, and they're just the best people as well, because it takes a lot to be able to work at somewhere like Little Harbour. Yeah,
we've got an incredible care team of like 50 members of staff, because not only are we working at the hospice, we're working in the family's own homes now. A lot of our families will just come in actually for day visits as well, and not just stay overnight. So there's lots of, music therapy. Richard is absolutely incredible. The physiotherapist, the care team have made up of not only just nurses, but the doctors, the carers, the psychologists, the music therapists. And then, a big shout out to us as the fundraising team as well. We all work really, really hard and collaborate. And in the extended team beyond Little Harbour, we are a region-wide charity. And the aim is that no child in the southwest will travel no more than 90 minutes to a children's hospice. So there's over 500 families using our 3 hospices currently. Any child from Plymouth and Cornwall would normally come to Little Harbour, but actually there's so many families out there that we still need to reach that could be using our facilities. So, if you speak to anyone, say, have you heard about Children's Hospice Southwest? Because so many people still don't know we exist, not just from a fundraising angle, but also from a care perspective as well.
And from a fundraising angle, 4.6 million, did you say?
Just for Little Harbour, our 3 hospices, we have to raise £14 million a year. So we get 10% government funding. So it actually costs us £16 million currently to run our 3 hospices. So as our 3 fundraising teams, we need to raise £14 million a year, and that comes in from lots of different ways. So people deciding to do a bingo night or a quiz night in support of Children's Hospice. We have people leave a donation in a legacy or from gifts in wills. We have businesses choose us as their charity of the year. So there's lots of different ways you can support Children's Hospice South West. Go to our shops and purchase something in there, make a donation to our shops. You could do our lottery. So there's lots of different ways you can get involved. And of course, events. We have lots running throughout the year. Obviously, Ride for Precious Lives, which you're taking part in, Tom, in July.
So excited.
That wasn't sold out, but we've already launched 2027. We've got our Moonlight Memory Walk in November at Helligan. We've got our Santa Run in Plymouth and at Eden again this year. We've got people jumping out of planes to do a skydive. We've got Plymouth Half Marathon next month. We've got a group of 30 from the St Austell area from the running group. So we are so excited to be supporting these incredible fundraisers. We don't take it for granted who supports Children's Hospice South West, and we are so, so grateful.
And it makes such an incredible difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like you mentioned, we do open days on the first Monday of the month, so we can show people around Little Harbour and show them exactly what their donation is contributing towards.
We hope that our listeners are never affected, and I'm sure you hope that all of the people out there are never affected by these things, but when it does happen, and it does happen, you want to know that the resources are there, the support is there, and that your team and yourself do such an incredible job. So thank you. We've been touched by it with a number of events that we've covered in the past and a number of people that we've spoken to as well. So you take it from us, your donation, no matter how small, your time, your awareness raising, your sharing of links on social media, whatever it is, or a 212-mile cycle, or jumping out of a plane, whatever it might be, it does actually make, like we said, such an incredible difference.
In the words of one of our bereaved dads, Little Harbour was the hug that held them up at the worst time, and where we hope that no one has to use the facilities. Hospice care across the UK is so, so important for people to know that it's there to access if they need it.
So if people want to find out more information, maybe they want to sign up for Rainbow Run in not long now, or they want to sign up for next year's ride, or maybe they want to jump out of a plane, maybe they want to learn how they can leave a gift in their will. Maybe they just want more information on what you do. Where can they go?
Go to the Children's Hospice South West website. There is so much information on there. Follow our socials on Facebook, or give us a call at Little Harbour on 01726 871 800. One of the team would love to speak to you.
Brilliant. Kylie, it's been a pleasure having you join us here on Chaos. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered? Anything you think's important for people to hear?
I think we need to be speaking about you, Tom, and this 212-mile cycle ride.
No.
Yeah, if you, honestly, this is going to be, it's a really hard 3-day challenge between our 3 children's hospices, which make it special in itself. But if any of you can support Tom, visit the Chaos Radio website where his Just Giving link is. It's really, not only is it 212 miles, it's 14,000 feet of climbing. So, Tom, thank you for everything you're doing for Children's Hospice South West and Chaos Radio for your support this year.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, you're listening to NEWSWAVE here on Chaos Radio with me, Tom Howe. A local choir for those living with dementia and those caring for them is preparing for a very special concert on the 25th of April, marking the end of their latest project with music and laughter. Cheryl Gordon caught up with the Forget Me Not chorus music leader in St Austell, Caroline Childe, to hear more about the choir and how plans are coming together.
NEWSWAVE.
Well, it's to bring people together through song, and its sole intention is to support those living with and alongside dementia, and just to bring that joy of music, the positivity of voices coming together, and that building of community that choruses and choirs can achieve for, as I say, those living with and alongside dementia who quite often feel like they maybe don't have quite so much to contribute anymore, and then they come and join the chorus and realise that they've still got a lot to contribute, and that is wonderful.
Shall We Dance is your end of project celebration. What can people expect from the afternoon, and why is it important to mark this moment with friends and family?
So we've been working, as the title suggests, on all songs that have sort of got a dance-related theme, all of them being just slightly loosely, and then others that are completely on the mark. We've got things like Dancing Queen and I Want to Dance with Somebody, along with some more classics like Dream Little Dream of Me. So songs have all been linked together, but we're hoping to create a sort of tea dance environment. We've got our pianist Clive Ellis, and also we've got two visiting musicians. We've got a drummer and a bass that are going to a double bass that are going to join us, and then some dancers as well. So, and the choir have learned some dances, just, I use dance in very loose terms, but definitely some moves to the music so that we can all get on our feet and just have a lot of fun together in this sort of tea dance environment. So, and we've had to actually move hall for this. So we've actually, the hall has been changed so we can get our dancing shoes on and have a bit more space. We usually meet up in Mount Charles's church, Mount Charles, and we are moving over to St Paul's Church Hall because they've got a lovely parquet flooring and it's got a lot of space in it so that people can actually move a bit more and feel like they've got space in which to move. Even just things like that can be quite exciting for us to sort of feel like, oh, we're going somewhere special. So that's another thing that's sort of changed for this particular sharing that we're going to do.
Now, your work focuses on supporting people living with dementia as well as their families and carers. What is it about music and singing that makes such a difference?
I think there are many elements. Music itself, it can create memories which are lovely to associate with, and immediately we can get transported to a place with a song, can't we? We can find ourselves taken absolutely back to a moment in time, which is wonderful. So there is that element to it, but then there is also that music making together, and I think that there's nothing that quite beats that with the vibration of sound, everybody together making sound together. In this case, it's with our voices. It can be with an orchestra or however you want to make your music. But I think there's something about voices joining together and the vibration of that sound, which, makes us all feel really, really good. And collaborating as well, feeling like we achieved something. We do sing all together, but we do try to incorporate some harmonies so that people really get a feeling of achieving something. They're not just sort of singing just the tune. We try to keep a good artistic integrity so that we are trying to actually achieve things. So I think coming together in vocal harmony is really, really special. When we come together, having really worked hard and people sort of go, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it. And then we bring it all together, we tend to rehearse little elements. The sense of achievement that you can see on people's faces is absolutely wonderful when it all works and the sound that they're making comes together. It's just glorious.
It's incredible to think how a mind, how the brain works, in a sense of people may not be able to express themselves by speaking, but can communicate and express themselves by music and sound. That is just the most heartwarming experience ever, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I think, I'm not medical, but I think it is a different part of the brain that we use for singing. So I think anything that we any limitations that we might sort of feel on ourselves when we actually sing, it's a different thing altogether. And I think we in the choir don't use song sheets. So we don't have to read. There's no reading of words or music. It's as the leader, I stand in front and we go over the words, we speak the words, we then sing the words, and then I'm mouthing them and singing along. So nobody feels like they have to do anything other than just respond, and that works really, really well for like you say, the mind being sort of free from having to do anything else apart from just sort of try and get their voices, working. And I always say to them, if they don't know the words as well, just sing la, sing ah, sing whatever you like, just, make some noise. It doesn't matter.
Now, Forget Me Not is more than simple sing-along. How do your sessions help people find joy away from the daily pressures of life, would you say?
Well, I think because we invite the people living with dementia and those living alongside, that they come together as well, and their carer or their loved one, and they're experiencing something jointly. And I think that in itself is a really special moment where they can forget all of the difficulties. You know, that there are a lot of difficulties of living with and alongside dementia. So for those 2 hours, we don't think about anything else when we're singing. And I think for those where their lives are really caught up, they're right in the centre of it all, this means that they can come together and experience something joyful together that doesn't have anything really to do with dementia. It's about making music, first and foremost. Also, our other aim is, of course, that it's meant to be joyful. So there are no sort of feelings of having to achieve something. Although we do have high standards, it's always done with a very, very fun outlook. Playful. There's a real community that has been built, been going for just over a year and a half. And definitely the community that we've built there is wonderful. You know, people come in, people quite, even though they don't have to, they quite like sitting in their own spaces. They sit in there where they feel comfortable, and they know the people around them, and they know the people opposite. And, you know, when people are settling in, they're sort of chatting to each other or calling across and seeing how each other are doing. So it's definitely got a real sociable element for everybody who comes along. And I think that it means that it's not just come and stand and sing. We try and achieve all of these different things with our harmonies. We often get the bodies moving. I'm a qualified yoga teacher as well. So I get them, certainly the warm-ups that I prepare, get physical movement going on as well, albeit within what's available to them in their body. So, but I think there's that element of moving and expressing themselves. So I think that's why it sort of feels a bit more than just come and stand and sing.
This project has been supported by many organisations like the Duchy Health Charity, Lottery and Arts Council England. How vital is it that support is allowing groups like yours to reach to local communities such as ours in St Austell?
It's really important because we offer this chorus for free. This is absolutely, you know, you come along and you don't have to pay for any of the sessions. But I think it's so important that people aren't restricted by financial differences to being able to come and experience the benefits of coming to Forget Me Not chorus. So we need funding to keep it going. You know, it has to, you know, that there are costs involved with running something like this. So it's vital that we get support from outside of the chorus so that the people that come along are able to just come and not even have to think about any financial implications.
Finally, let's have all the details. When, where is Shall We Dance taking place, where our listeners can get tickets, and how can people find out more about Forget Me Not Chorus or get involved in the future sessions?
As I say, we've moved venues, St Paul's Church Hall, which is on the 25th of April at 2:00 in the afternoon, and you just come along. There are no tickets, you don't have to, you just come along and see what's going on. I think we're going to have some cakes and tea and coffee afterwards. And then if you want to get involved, then we are on the internet, Forget Me Not Chorus. Our head office is in Cardiff. So if you see that on the screen, then you know that is right. Just go online and you can type in and they will send you all the details that you need for coming and joining. And you can come and try it out for one session. And if you think that you love it, then you're always welcome. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. That's absolutely fine.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, I've got something for you now. If you're a family and you claim child benefits, HM Revenue and Customs are reminding you that you will see an increase in your payments from April. Families are encouraged to claim child benefit as soon as they can after their baby is born, as the claim can only be backdated up to 3 months. Here to make sense of it all is our friend Ruth Forrest.
NEWSWAVE.
Child benefit. A lot of your listeners are probably familiar with child benefit, but it's a payment that you get from the government to support with the cost of bringing up and raising your children. So if you're a parent or a legal guardian for a child, you will get child benefit for the child or children that you care for, you get a slightly higher rate for the oldest or only child, and then a supplementary rate for other children. There's no limit for the number of children that you can claim child benefit for. And despite the fact that I think most people are fairly familiar with talking about child benefit or hearing about it. We did some research recently which found that of the 6.5 million people who claim child benefit for their child or children, only 72% of them claim child benefit in the first year of their child being born. So there are still people missing out. And this is important because although we do backdate payments for child benefit, we only do that for the first 3 months after a claim's been made. So we want to make people aware of what the benefit is, who can get it, how to get it, and make sure people claim it as soon as possible after they have a new baby or become a legal guardian for a child, so that they're not missing out on that important money that they're entitled to.
And that's a great thing to say, actually, because if you become a legal guardian for someone, for a child, then you are entitled to claim that as well.
Absolutely, yes, you are. So that could be, through fortunate circumstances, maybe a bereavement in the family, but it could also be that you've adopted a child or something like that and you've become a guardian that way. So any child that if you're either a parent or you're a guardian in that way, you can make these a claim to child benefit.
From April, child benefit rates are increasing. What will families now receive and how much extra will this mean over a course of a year?
Indeed. So they're going up from the 6th of April, which of course is the start of the new tax year. Child benefit payments usually paid every 4 weeks to families. So from the 6th of April, you will get £108.20 for your only or oldest child, and then £71.60 for children thereafter. So the amounts may seem small, but it roughly works out about £1 for the oldest child and then 65 pence for subsequent children. Now, if you had a family of 2, for example, that's going to work out around £85.80 a year. So it is an important sum of money when, we're all watching the money and the cost of living, etc. So really important to make sure that people make a claim for that and get what they're entitled to.
Now, we sort of already touched on this, but figures show many parents delay claiming child benefit. Why is it important to claim as soon as the baby's born, and why could families miss out on if they wait? I mean, what do you think also delays people? Is it knowledge, or is it that they don't think they're entitled to?
It's a good question, Cheryl. I think it's probably a number of things. So I think awareness is probably a big one. And obviously, if you've had a new baby, there's a million things going on, isn't there? And you're getting them home and you're transitioning into that life. And maybe you've got other children at home and you're not getting much sleep and all of these kinds of things. Probably one of the factors that delay things for people making a new claim. Certainly, you do have a bit of time. But as we said earlier, we do only backdate payments for 3 months. So we want to make sure that you make a claim as soon as possible. The quickest and easiest way to make a claim to child benefit is on the gov.uk website or via the HMRC app if you have that. And I know we've spoken about that before, so I'm hoping a lot of people have downloaded that. But it is just a few clicks. All you need to have to hand to make that claim is your bank details for yourself and your partner that the claim's to be paid into, national insurance numbers for yourself and your partner, and your child's birth certificate. Now, if you get one of the, I think they're called bounty packs, the packs that you get home from the hospital when you've had a new baby, there's a leaflet in there as well that talks about child benefit, and that will have a QR code on there which you can click on. It'll take you straight to the claims page, and that's a great thing because, of course, you can do that any time of day that suits you. If you're up all night with a new bundle of joy, you don't have to wait for call centres opening or anything like that. You can make a claim whenever it's convenient to you. And most straightforward claims, once you've submitted everything that we need online, you'll get the first payment within 3 days of making that claim. So it really is that quick and easy. And the other thing to say is that often people forget this. It's not just the financial payment that you're getting, which of course is really important. Child benefit is also a gateway to getting credits towards your state pension. So the parent or guardian who makes the claim, they will get national insurance credits towards their state pension, and the claim will also ensure that your child gets a national insurance number issued to them automatically when they hit 16. And of course, that's important for them if they're going out to work or indeed applying for student finance to go to college or university. So really important benefit for all those additional things as well.
For higher earning households, what is the high income child benefit charge and what options are available to parents who are affected by it?
So the high income child benefit charge is something that applies to an individual or households where the highest earner earns between 60,000 and 80,000 per year. And the way it works is that the high income child benefit charge will apply to the highest earner within that bracket in the household. Now on gov.uk there is a calculator where you can have a look at your earnings against child benefit and find out, because it kind of tapers depending on the level of your income. So it might be advantageous to you to keep making a claim to child benefit. It may not. A lot of families, when the high income child benefit charge came in, they just opted out and didn't claim child benefit because in order to pay the charge, they had to come into the self-assessment system and submit a tax return to pay it, which a lot of people didn't want the inconvenience of that if they didn't need to be in self-assessment for any other reason. The good news is that that is now changing. So from this year, if you do have a high income child benefit charge to pay, you can do that via the pay as you earn system. You don't need to come into self-assessment to do that. So gov.uk is where you would go, search child benefit. You can use the calculator, as I say, to check whether or not the charge would apply and how much. And you can also opt to have that collected through your tax code if you don't have to be in self-assessment. But even if you decide not to claim child benefit because financially it's not beneficial because of your earnings, we would still say do register anyway, critically so that you get those national insurance top-up credits towards your state pension, and of course your child gets their NI number when they hit 16 as well.
Finally, can you remind us how to claim and what documentation people need when applying for child benefit?
Absolutely. So you can make a claim quickly and easily via the HMRC app if you have that. If you don't, please do download it. It's a gateway to so many things, and you can get that freely, easily and securely from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, depending on your device. Or you can visit gov.uk and search child benefit. You can make a claim there. There is also a YouTube video to help you, talk you through step by step. Just search HMRC Gov UK on YouTube and find that video. To make the claim, all you need to have to hand is your bank details for the account you want the payments paid into, national insurance numbers for yourself and your partner if you have one, and your child's birth certificate. And remember, do make that claim as quickly as you possibly can. I know it's tricky, especially if you've got a new bundle of joy at home and your life is really busy, but please do make it within the first 3 months of the child's birth, because the payments are only backdated for 3 months and we don't want you missing out.
NEWSWAVE.
Finally this week, Falmouth University has teamed up with the Get Creative team for a 6-day musical theatre summer school this August. Open to secondary school age students and those in further education under 18, the project provides a chance to develop singing, acting and dancing skills while working directly with industry professionals. Across the week, participants will build towards a public performance of Legally Blonde Junior taking place on Saturday the 22nd of August at Falmouth's Amata Arts Centre. To learn more, Cheryl Gordon was joined by Get Creative lead Helen Tiplady and James Darcy, Assistant Director of the show.
NEWSWAVE.
Legally Blonde Junior Summer School is part of our Hall for Cornwall Get Creative programme that we run. We do two things. So we have a really brilliant, thriving youth musical theatre scene at the Hall for Cornwall, and the summer school is exactly as it sounds. It's a week, was 6 days actually. Don't worry, I'm not cutting it short by a day. 6 whole days to put on a full performance of Legally Blonde. Now, obviously, for listeners that know their musical theatre, the junior version is a slightly different version, but it's basically a really exciting, fast-paced, high energy piece that we're gonna stage in just 6 days as over August. And then to complement that, so for those people who don't necessarily want to do something quite so intensive over a short space of time, we also have a weekly training group as well. So we've had so much demand for it, we've now got 2. So it's split into 2 different age groups on a Tuesday. And and it's all about getting together with like-minded people who want to learn routines and songs and acting, and to put all of those together in the brilliant genre that is musical theatre.
What do you see young people gaining from taking part in something as immersive as this?
Do you know what? It's a really brilliant set of things. So not only do people get the chance to really hone their skills in dancing and acting, performing and singing, of course, but really it's about the friendships that you make. It's about the confidence that you gain. Particularly with the summer school, I think there's something around, you meet everybody first. Monday morning is always the worst bit because you don't know who else has signed up, and sometimes you arrive and you're not sure if you're going to know anyone or if there's anybody that you might have met before. And then by the end of the first hour, once we've done some name games and some warming up, and we've actually kind of made a start, it's just the best thing. Like, you make friends for life. Your confidence is sort of sky high, and just, I think one of the main things that I love about it, because I don't teach on it. I come in at the beginning and I say hello, and then I come back and watch the show at the end. And what I love is just that sense of pride that at the end of it, you go, we did that, we made that happen. And there's always a few tears at the end. You sort of like, you can't quite believe it's over. So yeah, I think it's that sense of pride that actually together as a one-off group, we've made this magic happen.
Now, James, from a creative point of view, Legally Blonde Junior is a high energy, fast-paced. What makes it such a great show for young performers to tackle?
Yeah, I think, as you say, it is that quick pacedness of it. It's such a full show for this junior version. They've squeezed a little bit out of the full 2.5 hour show to make it kind of palatable for younger people. But it's got so many characters and genres and kind of moments in it. It's like a steam train. Like, once it starts, it doesn't stop until you hit the end. Like, it's really one of those shows that just keeps coming at you. So there's so many. Obviously, Elle Woods is the famous lead of Legally Blonde from the original movie. But there's lawyers and pilots and hairdressers and marching bands and two dogs, and at least two dogs, and crime and fitness exercise video from the 80s. Like, there's really any genre or moment you can think that's in there. So there's really such a variety to kind of get a little taste of so much stuff. And I think that's really entertaining for someone to kind of help make it, and also for them to be in it, to be able to dip their toes into so many different elements of the world, all wrapped up in a big pink bow in this case.
You're taking a cast from auditions to a full public performance in just 6 days. What's the biggest challenge and the biggest reward of working at that pace?
It's really exciting to, especially with young people, normally we see them kind of for an hour or two a week. So being able to see them for an entire week is kind of unheard of in that kind of group. So the amount of the pace you get on learning stuff is always very impressive. Over last year, they really kind of blew us out of the water. We were fully kind of expecting that some might still need their scripts in their hands on the Saturday because it's a short period of time, but almost by the Thursday they came to us like, no, we don't need them, we've got this. Like, we are so in this world now, we are gonna make it our own. And they really kind of blew us away with how much they were willing to take on, and just really create it and make it as big and as beautiful as it can be.
Helen, for some participants, this could be their first experience of professional style theatre training. What do you hope they'll walk away with when the final curtain comes down?
So I really hope that they enjoy stepping into this world. So for us, we're really lucky over here at the Hall for Cornwall. We get to see so many shows come in. We get to, James and I both get to work on our pantomime. So we're kind of, we have sort of big shows, big, like you said, steam trains, aren't they? They arrive, they do their thing, and then they go. So we're sort of immersed in it all the time. And I think that what I really hope is that anyone listening who has any little inklings of like, I'd really like to give a go, but I'm not sure it's for me, or I've always wanted to do something a bit like that. I wonder if I could come and give it a go. This is a really safe and supportive environment to do that in. So I really hope that they walk away from the end of the week feeling unbelievably chuffed with what they've made in a week, and some new friends and some new skills along the way. Because as James has just said, there's so much content in this show. That there's kind of something for everyone. So even if you're thinking, oh, I quite like the sound of that, but I'm not sure about that, there's lots of opportunities within it for lots of different styles. So I really hope that they walk away just feeling really proud of what we've all achieved, And there's nothing like it, when people clap at the end of a show and it's for you, that's magic. Like, who doesn't? Mind you, we're quite theatrical over here, aren't we? Quite often people will burst into applause. Yeah, exactly. So I really hope that they have a brilliant week, challenging themselves and then feeling really, really pleased with what they've made.
Finally, how can people sign up or find more information?
Our summer school is a partnership with Falmouth University. So we're working very closely with another James Randall over at Falmouth University, over at Amata. So you can have a look on the Amata website, which is AMATA, Amata, over at Falmouth Uni, or you can have a look on the Hall for Cornwall website, which is www.hallforcornwall.co.uk. You can find that over on the Get Creative pages. So there's we're part of, obviously, because we've got the main show, Legally Blonde, as well. You could obviously book tickets for the main show, but don't think that you're going to be in that one, because we're doing a different version, obviously. So yeah, come and have a look. It's the week of the 17th to the 22nd of August, and we are going to do a casting day. So we're going to do a day together from 12 till 3 on Monday, the 27th of July, because obviously we've only got a week to put it on. We need to meet everybody a bit before so that we can start to think about who would be right for playing which parts, and who will get a lot out of doing each of those different roles. So yeah, have a look on one of those websites, either Amata or Hall for Cornwall, and it will have all the information you need. And also, when you're on the Hall for Cornwall site, you can have a look at our musical theatre group that runs on a Tuesday as well, if you'd like to come and do something each week with us.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Jonathon Jones, Managing Director of Trading at Tregothnan, to Kiley Pearce, Events Fundraiser at Children's Hospice South West, to Forget Me Not Chorus Music Leader Caroline Childe, to Ruth Forrest from HM Revenue and Customs, as well as to both Helen Tiplady and James Darcy ahead of this summer's musical theatre summer school hosted by Get Creative and Falmouth University. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, do head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story yourself that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. NEWSWAVE has been produced and presented by me, Tom Howe, and is a Chaos Radio production for the Cornwall Community Media Network.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.